That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and I bet quite a few of you right now are looking at those fantasy rosters, wishing you could do it all over again, but you can't. So get over it. That's why you're here tonight. We got Brian Scott in for the Inside the Medical Tent. Andrew LeDuc brings, of course, Mr. Mallard to life with some sophisticated starts. We're going to close it out with Chuck's fantasy hits, DJ Chuck Bass, my bad, fantasy hits. And of course, our crew will be in to break down the big week 4 coming up. It's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah! Here we go!
It's time for TSS Fantasy.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
I could do a whole 49er show right now.
Ready to rock out with my gavel out.
Oh yeah, baby!
Don't sleep on my Patriots, you know.
We're ready for football. That's
Joe Burrow with this wrist, I'm curious.
I find you guilty of all charges.
and although you consistent force in this
Please develop some really
DJ Chuck Bass.
This guy has been doing it ever since coming off.
I hope you like the way I pimped
He's
you out.
made 4 targets in all 3 of the classes.
game for the touchdown this year.
You know, the great thing about being a football player is you don't have to take a shower to go to work.
There it is.
You know, the great thing about being a podcaster, Justin, is you need internet to go to work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's
send it to heaven. Come on.
let's get things started. Tonight, we appreciate you dropping in with us as we knock out week 4. And a big week 4 it is indeed. Let's go to our guest, our co-host, because our other one disappeared. So I meant to say co-host anyway. Andrew LeDuc, Mr. Sophistication himself. Welcome into the studio.
That's right. It gets confusing. Mr. Sophistication, Mr. Mallard, whatever. I am just Mr. We'll go with that.
That's what it started out to be, too. Is just Mr. Indeed. All right. I think Justin's trying to claw his way back. You think he was the one that went through a hurricane. While Justin gets on, let's go ahead and pay those bills real quick. Do us a favor. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Lots of great DFS plays this week. Lots of different ways to play, too. You can do a whole just Saturday lineup. You can do just Sunday. You can do Sunday night. You can do whatever you want. I said Saturday. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sunday. You can do all Sunday. You can do a little bit. You can do the 1 o'clock games, 4 o'clock games, all the way through Monday night. Whatever you want. Use the promo code TSS. We'll double that deposit up to $100. And, of course, if you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, look no further than Pro-Am Belts. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit subscribe, hit like, hit a comment. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do. And if you have any lineup questions, of course, pop those in there. Let's see if Justin Jesus Herrera is in the building. Welcome in, my friend.
He has risen.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm over here getting the remnants of Hurricane Helene, and my internet's whacked in like I'm getting the whole fucking hurricane over here. Whoa, my internet's all spotty and shit. I'll tell you what, Xfinity, you can go suck a double-decker shit sandwich. TSS Fantasy, let's fucking go. Friday night breakdown. Let's get it going, baby. I love it.
My dad heard that.
Justin using or getting hit by Helena, who went through here. And like I was saying to Justin off camera, feels like it was nothing more than a normal Sunday afternoon summer shower here in Florida. So at least on my side anyway. But of course, with those impacted, we wish you good luck. All right, let's hit some news. That sounded disingenuous. I'm sorry.
Yeah, good luck. News time.
I wish you all the luck in the world. All right.
For the important stuff.
While you're watching us listen, at the end of the day, we had football last night. Forget the hurricane. The Cowboys were at the New York Giants. The Cowboys won 20-15. Might as well have taken a nap through this one. It was kind of sloppy as far as I was concerned. Dak threw 221, 2 TDs. He was looking hot early. In fact, I'm playing him in one of my leagues. Of course, I'm playing someone at some point somewhere. But I was getting a little worried, quite frankly, because he was starting to get hot there early. But then, of course, dialed down a bit. Rico Dowdle, I guess, was the best out of the backfield. 11 carries for 46 yards. 1 reception, got the touchdown. No, you look good on that touchdown run anyway. CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions, 98 yards, touchdown. He also tried to run 3 times and got 8 yards out of it. Jake Ferguson, 7 receptions, 49 yards. And on the other side, Daniel Jones, who I saw was getting picked up in a lot of leagues, 281 yards and 1 pick. It didn't have a very good night as far as getting into the end zone. That was obviously the problem for the Giants last night. Devin Singletary, that was also a hot name out there. 14 carries, 24 yards. Great job. Now in the receiving game, Malik Neighbors, 12 receptions, 115 yards. Didn't get in the end zone, but had a good night. And Wan'Dale Robinson, 11 receptions, 71 yards. A nice PPR night, for to say the least. LeDuc, let's go to you. What'd you think of last night's game?
For anyone who thought it was a good idea to own Ezekiel Elliott, the fact that CeeDee Lamb is getting involved in the backfield just tells you all you need to know. It's time to drop Elliott. It's time to just move on from that. I know a lot of people were on Rico Dowdle actually last night for some reason, and it worked out as the first touchdown. I saw that a ton of people post that on TikTok and whatnot. Look, I thought as someone who was going up against the Dallas defense last night in my home league, I was actually quite pleased with what the Giants were able to do. I know they didn't get in the end zone, but 5 field goals, I'll take that. 15 points. I know the stat lines weren't there for Daniel Jones because of the lack of touchdowns, but Daniel Jones might have proved a little bit. I'm not going to say he proved something. He started to prove something last night. And if he finds this thing with Wan'Dale Robinson and that continues to be consistent, watch out, because I guarantee you right now Wan'Dale Robinson is on every single waiver wire. So that's something to watch.
It's funny on the artwork for the show on the YouTube thumbnail. I have now I correctly have Malik Neighbors on there. But when I typed it in the AI, they put in Wan'Dale Robinson, and I had first shot that out there. No one said nothing about it, and I didn't even notice it until I was like, wait a minute, that's not Malik. But it's funny, you might as well just kept him up there because he had a great night. That's why I put that on the guys who have a good night the week prior. I put him up there, and man, he had a decent night last night. Not for nothing, might be emerging a little bit in this offense. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, I think this Daniel Jones, phenomenal night, and I think it's because Malik Neighbors is there. I think Wan'Dale Robinson doesn't have a good week unless Malik Neighbors is there to draw most of the attention.
Yes.
But no, I'm not discounting Wan'Dale Robinson. As of right now, he's on pace for like 111 catches, so he's pretty fucking nuts. He's doing some real good stuff in the fantasy sphere. But yeah, I just want to say, straight up, this team, it's always the teams that you think are going to be completely trash that surprise you in the end. Like a lot of people thought, me included, thought that freaking at one time the Bucs were going to be completely trash with Baker Mayfield, and then here he is, Baker Mayfield's back. So I've dabbled in getting a little bit of Daniel Jones, and he didn't disappoint last night. He got me like 19 points, so I was okay with it.
Well, it's amazing. You made a good point, because it's amazing what 1 yard after catch big play it took from Neighbors. It's all it took, like you said, to really open up the field for that entire offense. And yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson, going back years ago, was part of one of Daniel Jones's most successful seasons. They got him paid. So it's definitely something to watch. I love that point, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so again, we'll see. They've shown some signs of life, this Giants team. They're not somebody to be walked over, to say the least. So we'll see as the season goes. All right, so we got to go now. Me and Justin are going to head out the building for a little bit because we got to get inside that medical tent. Lots of good stuff to talk about this week. So LeDuc and Bry, that's your cue.
A.J. Dillon just went into the medical tent a moment ago.
All right, Brian, I'm going to give you a chance here to apparently correct us.
Yeah, I don't know what game you guys were watching, but as a lifelong New York Giants fan, that was gut-wrenchingly bad, and I was nauseated the entire time. Nobody played well on the offensive side of the ball for the Giants. The only reason they were even in that game was because of their stellar defense, which has been stellar for the last few weeks. Daniel Jones had some decent passes and some were dropped. He had some guys wide open for touchdowns, aka Darius Slayton, and on a free play, he couldn't even get the ball to him in stride. Just all around horrific to watch. I saw nothing promising coming out of that offensive display. But I like the positivity because most New York Giants fans don't have it. So we need to get it from somewhere. So I appreciate that, guys.
Well, and you know, that just shows you're a true fan because you hold them to a higher expectation than the rest of us who don't give a shit about the Giants, quite honestly. But let's get into the injuries because there has been some updates. So now I know how you already feel about this, but I'm going to be selfish here. I own Alvin Kamara in a few leagues. He was one of my guys coming into the season. He popped up with some injuries here this week. How do you feel about Kamara? Is he in danger of missing this week? I mean, he's been going off so far this year.
Yeah, I think he's going to suit up. He logged back-to-back practices the last couple of days. He was limited, but, you know, he's a vet. They're not going to put him out there to do unnecessary stuff getting ready for the weekend game here. It sounds like it was like a rib contusion / hip contusion thing, nothing serious. I expect that he'll play. He's going to be listed as questionable, but I think he's going to play.
That's fantastic news. And we can get to something that's a bit more rare in the fantasy world and in the football world in general. Deebo Samuel last week obviously didn't play. Most of the week was doubtful. Coming into this week, the majority of the week, doubtful. Yesterday, though, he gets upgraded to questionable. We don't typically see an upgrade from doubtful to questionable. Is this false hope that owners could be having that he plays this week, or is this just that he's been coming along a little bit faster than they thought, and they were just kind of by the book of the rules, they had to list him as such?
No, this is false hope because Deebo has missed a lot of time throughout his career. And usually when he does miss time is for extended periods. And he's dealing with this calf issue. Now, he did get another practice in today. He was limited. And then for some reason, Kyle Shanahan was like, I'll see in about an hour how things look. Whatever that means, I don't know. So I'm not really convinced that he's going to be back out there this weekend. He might truly be a game time decision. He might actually suit up and take some warm-ups and get on the field before the game, but that might literally come down to game time and whether or not he plays.
Well, it's just when we go back to it, the 49ers seem to be in no rush. They seem confident enough to where they're not going to rush these guys back, especially after what Jennings did last week.
Yep.
They're probably going to be fine. I agree. He's probably not playing. You mentioned Malik Neighbors last week. He's now come up out of this game with a concussion. I know concussions are impossible to predict. It's such a case to case and there's so much unknown. But the way he got his concussion, non-contact, he just went kind of face first into the ground.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can tell by how, I guess, little contact there was what level concussion he has, or is it just really? I mean, I'm pretty sure I know the answer here. Is it really just a freak that you really don't know how bad a concussion is? You can't tell from a video.
Well, you can't, but the thing that kind of concerned me was that there were reports that in the locker room, one of the teammates had kind of reached out or yelled out to him across the way and was like, "How you doing, Malik?" And he was kind of like, "Not good, bro." And, you know, the fact that he laid down there in the field for several minutes on what looked like a really innocuous looking play. He was basically just trying to tiptoe the line, keep his feet in bounds and make a catch and didn't get pushed really hard or hit, just kind of flopped to the ground, landed face first on the face mask. So you got to wonder if that little amount of force compared to what most guys get concussed by, is that something we need to be concerned about going forward? And is it going to lead to any significant time lost due to the concussion symptoms that he could possibly be having in the next few days here? Good news is that the Giants played on Thursday, so they've got a long extended week here coming up, which gives him plenty of time to recover. And if he can be symptom-free and get through the concussion protocol, we should see him back next week. But concerning from a standpoint as a young guy, rookie in the league here, 4th game ever, and, you know, he's already got a concussion. And like we talk about a lot, this has a cumulative effect. It won't take much for him to get another one. There's a chance it could be more severe, could lead to lingering symptoms for a lot longer, which could mean more time missed in the future should this happen again. So hopefully necessary precautions are taken. He's healed, given time to heal, and he should get through it.
Now, then this is a bigger conversation, but real fast, do you feel like the league is handling concussions correctly as it comes on the field? Because even last night we saw Micah Parsons got pulled off for a play because it was the ref who saw it, that he seemed to take a little bit too long getting up on the field. And I felt like they did the correct thing. They pulled him off, made sure he got checked. has the field has the league taken steps in the right direction to make sure they're doing this correctly on the field?
Yeah, so that's the eye in the sky kind of thing, if you want to call it that, where they have training staff. The home team, the home city basically staffs athletic trainers to basically be up in the booth and to watch the game through binoculars. And they are the only people that can actually radio directly down to the head official at any moment in time, at any point in the game, and immediately stop the game if they think the player has had concussion or concussion type injury. And that is that in full effect right there. And I think that's a good thing. It doesn't seem to be abused or misdirected. It seems to be working quite well. And it's been put in place for the player safety. And that's what you saw last night with that particular play. So I think that in and of itself is a good thing. Whether or not the rest of the stuff the league is doing is really providing much change, I'm kind of still a little suspect on it. There's a lot of things that go into it. We don't have time to kind of talk about it, but the Guardian thing is a whole nother subject. We can get into that another time.
Totally understand. And as always, if you want to check out what Brian has to say on all the latest injuries, as well as myself, each week you can go over to theinjuredlist.com. Check out our blog, Inside the Medical Tent. Brian breaks down the injuries. I break down the fantasy impacts, and we bring that to you weekly. So get over there, check that out. Thank you again, Brian, as always, for your expert knowledge.
And Andrew, I got to be a little selfish here too, because you mentioned that you were being selfish with your roster. Well, I've got Joe Mixon on my roster, and I'm excited because I think he's actually going to be coming back. And then you factor in that Dameon Pierce has officially been ruled out with his hamstring injury. It looks like Joe Mixon is probably going to be pushed to the front of the line and coming back from his high ankle sprain, which was not very severe. And he's had a couple weeks now to rest. So I think Joe Mixon is going to be upgraded. I think we'll see him actually start and get a bulk load of the carries with Dameon Pierce being out.
Damn it, I'm facing Joe Mixon. Thanks for that. Anyways, Brian, thank you as always. And from here, we are going to go on. Speaking of concussions, we're going to hear a little bit from NeuroGuard. So thank you again.
All right. Dr. Michael Hutchison has harnessed the latest in neuromuscular dentistry and impact technology to develop a mouthguard that does more than protect. It enhances. NeuroGuard Plus isn't just a mouthguard. By focusing on the jaw's physiological position, it provides an added layer of neuroprotection, significantly reducing the risk of sports-related neurological injuries. All athletes should be using a custom mouthguard designed to their bite position. NeuroGuard Plus was created as a means to maintain your physiological jaw position regardless of your bite. The appliance is designed to optimize your upper-lower jaw relationship to improve your strength, your balance, your oxygen intake, and drastically lower your chance of a concussion. Independent studies have shown that the NeuroGuard Plus will provide you with improvement to both upper and lower body strength. The same improvements were not present with a common mouthguard. Over 6,500 athletes have used the NeuroGuard Plus. Dr. Hutchison is happy to say that the amount of diagnosed concussions is 0.2%. The NeuroGuard Plus offers athletes, coaches, and parents an advantage to keep their players safe on the field. If you or your child actively participates in athletics, they need to be protected from the dangers of repetitive head trauma. Get your NeuroGuard Plus mouthguard today. Click on the link and use code ILPSports for 10% discount on your purchase.
All right. Thank you, LeDuc and Brian, for taking us inside the medical tent. But it's Friday night. You know what time it is.
Breakdown!
Bring it on down!
Breakdown!
Bring it on down! Bring it on down!
Breaking it on down, indeed, Fred. Good luck, sir. All right, Bengals at Panthers. Let's start it off hot. Talking about the Bengals defense against fantasy QBs are 20th, against running back 16th, receivers are 9th, against tight ends are 10th. The Panthers, 25th against QBs, 27th against running backs, 19th against receivers, and 30th against tight ends. LeDuc, we'll go to you first. What say you on this matchup? Give me a guy, some guys you like and don't like.
So this is simple for me. Forget about all those rankings for the Panthers, because the Panthers we saw last week was a completely different team than we saw weeks 1 and 2. And the difference was Andy Dalton. And I hate the fact that I just said that, but the difference was Andy Dalton. And there was a spark infused into that team. Now, I will say, typically that's something that is a 1 week thing. So about the only guy that I like, given the injuries they've had on the Panthers, is probably Chuba Hubbard. I think he can still have a good game against this Bengals defense because this Bengals defense has just not been it. But it does feel like somewhat of a get-right game for the Bengals. Cannot go 0-4. They have too much talent on that team to go 0-4. I can't see Burrow and Chase not hooking up a couple times here and making things right. The fact that the Panthers are 1-2 and the Bengals are 0-3 right now is a travesty, but it speaks to the absolute parity we've gotten in this league this year. It's good for the NFL. It's terrible for fantasy.
You know what makes me sick is the Panthers scored as many points last week as the Miami Dolphins have scored all season long. Justin, what say you, my friend? How many guys you like and don't like in this one? And you're on mute, just FYI.
I have to agree with LeDuc on this one. I mean, it's must win for the Bengals. Adam Thielen went on IR this week. Deontay Johnson just popped up with a groin injury. It's not good situation at all for the Panthers. Red Rocket's coming back for his revenge game. There might be a DFS guy to play in there, maybe Xavier Legette, maybe a Tommy Tremble, but there is no way in hell that I am putting them in my regular lineups. Just sorry, there's no way in hell. So yeah, as far as the Panthers go, I am touching none of that. And the Bengals, you already know who to start.
Yeah. You already know. And I think too, with T. Higgins back last week, kind of get, it's going to take a game or two, and this would be that 2 game to get him back in the mix a little bit as well. So, and maybe even a little DFS Gesicki if you're hurting that with one of these tight ends.
Gesicki's not been bad.
Not been a bad guy to grab for sure. All right, let's go Saints at Falcons. Against fantasy QB, Saints are 9th. Against running backs are 10th. Receivers 13th, 28th against tight ends. Maybe Kyle Pitts does something. Against Falcons against fantasy QBs are 22nd. Running backs are 4th. Receivers 15th and tight ends 21. Justin, I'll go to you. Guys you like and don't like.
For this Falcons team, I kind of like I like Drake London a lot more than Kyle Pitts because you can't rely on Kyle Pitts to do anything right. Even when he gets a quarterback, you can't rely on this MFer to do anything right. And then, Bijan Robinson's a tough one because you can't sit him. But as I always say, temper your expectations because this Saints defense is for real. And I know that Saquon Barkley did what he did last week, but that's Saquon Barkley. I like Bijan Robinson, but he is not Saquon Barkley on the Eagles right now. Saquon Barkley on the Eagles right now is looking like Christian McCaffrey on the 49ers. He's looking damn good. And Bijan, while he's had some 100-yard games, he has just not looked like the level of guy that we thought we were getting, the advertised Christian McCaffrey Jr. That's actually Saquon. So I'm going to temper my expectations for him. I'll be okay if he pulls me out 15 points. I'll be more than happy if he pulls me out 15 points. But I think this might be one of those weeks where he gets maybe a little bit 10, maybe less, maybe doesn't do too much in the passing game. Kirk Cousins, if you got to start him. If you don't, I wouldn't. Derek Carr is probably in the same boat. Falcons have been really silently good on defense, man. They gave Mahomes trouble. They've given quite a few teams trouble. For the Saints, I would start Alvin Kamara if he plays because that guy is just automatic. And then it seems like Chris Olave has become the guy. Rashid Shaheed is the great freaking lob it up there and I'll go get it. Couple weeks starter. He looked like Jamison Williams did the first 2 weeks where you're like, ooh, this is going to be a really nice play. And then he gets you last week and you're like, fuck, the 1 week I started him. Sorry.
I called it.
Having a little flashbacks here. But yeah, I think Olave is definitely a solid play for that one. And then I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I don't like Taysom Hill in this one. I can't decipher when Taysom Hill is going to actually be good.
That's why I will fantasy gamble.
Yeah, he is. So can I just say Rashid Shaheed is what John Ross was supposed to be As far as he's the speed, he's the big play, boom or bust, the 20 or 0. That's what he is. And I will gloat just a little bit right here. I called Rashid Shaheed getting 0 last week. I knew it was due. It just happened. And I'm going to turn around and say this is the week that I think he does actually get one off this week because I think they're going to have to. This is going to be a good game. I actually like Pitts more than you do, Justin, this week. What I saw out of Pitts last week, I know he didn't get in the end zone, but that play from Cousins to him, that big one, it was like 54 yards or whatever it was. Yeah. It felt like the catalyst to push that relationship forward. It's one of those gut feelings. I just feel like Pitts continues the push forward this week. I almost put him in my ultimate DFS. We'll see that on Sunday. But so I like Pitts. I'm going to go to Rashid Shaheed as a flex play this week because I think he's going to have that one big boom play this week. And then I think you nailed it otherwise. You pretty much hit everyone. I don't want to waste too much time here, but Kamara, Olave, I mean, yeah, you got to start Bijan. I don't feel great about it. I agree with you. So, yeah. Rashid
LeDuc, the commish will tell you this. I inadvertently called for Dallas Goedert to be a fucking monster last week because I called him Mr. Inconsistent, and this motherfucker goes for like 100+ yards and a touchdown. He totally wrecked my analysis that day. I was just like, there he is, Mr. Inconsistent.
I remember saying that was something we were going to clip too. If they,
yeah, well, we got to clip that. Hey, by the way, but before you get to that real fast, Poksu, whatever you are, appreciate the question. Don't fucking spam.
We're gonna get to you, bro.
We're gonna get to you.
We're gonna get to you. All right, the Smitty, welcome in, brother. Appreciate you joining us tonight. All right, let's go. We'll go to Ledoux for this one. Start to Evans, Jennings, London's, or Evans.
Who's the other Evans? Did he just mistaken? Say the name Evans twice. Okay, I'm assuming both Mike Evans. He just made a mistake, so that's what I'm going with. Smitty. I'm gonna say Evans in London. I just can't. He means JSN.
JSN, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm still gonna say Evans in London here. I want to start Jennings again because he was my guy last week, another one I called, but I didn't think he was going to 40 points or whatever he did. Evans and London, so London is my answer there.
All right, I like it. Justin, disagree with that or?
No, I like it. Yeah.
All right, so Paksu, my brother, we got our sister, we got to you. Sit one, Justin, Amon-Ra, Chase, or Rice?
Why do you got to sit one? Shit.
Yeah, what you got in your flex, right?
That's my 2 and a flex right there, buddy. Jeez. I'll go with Sit Rice, and that's just because he had a really big week last week, and I think this offense is going to be more focused on the groundwork and maybe getting a little bit off to. I think this is the first big week for Kelsey. I think Kelsey gets revived this week.
They have, exactly. It's got to be coming. The Kelsey week is coming. And honestly, what it is in this past week too, it got brought to attention national headlines that they're starting to ask questions and he's starting to answer them. A Kelsey week is coming, which means everyone else is going down.
And Andy Reid did come out and say, I mean, that's why Rice has got off so far, is that the concentrate's been on Kelsey so much that's why Rice has been open. So they're going to have to adjust. I know. I was just about to put that up there. I was like, "Ooh, look at this sexy!" Oh my god!
He already played Neighbors of Flex, so that makes sense. Okay,
yeah. But either way, damn, I love it, bro. What a nice squad. I like that indeed.
I was gonna say, God damn, dude, you're doing something right.
What do you think for the next one, Leduc? We'll go to you.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go Carr here just because I think there's gonna be points in that game at least. I need to see more out of AR. He worries me. He just worries me flat out. So yeah, I'm gonna go Carr.
All right, so let's go to Chelsea for this one. Laporta is playing Monday night. So
try again.
What do you think?
I can't praise him. Because the moment I praise him is the moment he'll give you a 0 burger. But I'll tell you what, Dallas Goedert looking nice right now. Deonta Smith is still, I don't think he practiced today.
He's still with the concussion protocol.
Yeah. And then A.J. Brown, I don't think he even practiced today, not even a limited capacity. So it looks like it's going to be Dallas Goedert and nobody else there. They got a whole bunch of these guys, Johnny Wilson, fucking Jahan Dotson, Mr. No Nuts, something like that. I don't know what's his nuts. But yeah, I think I would go with Goddard because Laporta is also really banged up right now. And they kind of have been, I don't want to say avoiding him because they were getting to him last week, but it hasn't been the year of the big tight end. So I think that maybe you're better off just going with Goddard right now.
All right.
Yes.
I don't think anyone disagrees with that right now because right now Laporta, like you said, though, it's going to be at some point Laporta is going to get off too, like we were talking about Kelsey. But at the same hand, like you got to like the matchup for Goddard and where it's setting up for him this week. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you there. All right, we'll get to the next here in a second, Jacksu. We got to get some of this done or we'll be here all night. Jaguars at Texans. Jaguars are 31st against fantasy QBs, 29th against running backs, 25th against receivers, 8th against tight ends. The Texans, 27th against QBs, 7th against running backs, are 20th against receivers, and 6th against tight ends. All right, what say you, Ledoux? Who do you like and don't like in this one for a team that's about to head to London with the Jaguars?
Yeah, I missed on the Brenton Strange. So I will say Brenton Strange got in the end zone last week, but I think it was his only catch, maybe one of 2 or 3 catches. So like Brenton Strange call last week was I got lucky is basically what that was. So I'm not going to push that again. Brian Thomas is the real deal. Unfortunately, Trevor Lawrence is not. We've seen too much evidence of Lawrence not being what he was in his first season there, even with the bad coaching. So there's something wrong here in Jacksonville. Brian Thomas will be a possession guy, but I think we're still going to see low yardage from him. So there's that. So yeah, that's those are the Christian Kirk. I still can't confidently start either. Like I know he had a more decent game this past week, but I am still going to stick to the take that Brian Thomas is going to take over that core and going to be the guy to own in that offense.
All right, what say you, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say too much other than, I think that the problem is Leduc is the straw that's stirring the drink right now, and that's supposed to be the coaching staff. What makes everything kind of mix and meld together. And I, for some reason, I think that Doug Peterson's just got to be on his way out. They just do not have the coaching staff right now that's going to cater to Lawrence. I do like Christian Kirk in this game. I think that he's got a good chance. They play a lot of zone in Houston. I think Christian Kirk will thrive against that. Brian Thomas is a long shot, like Leduc said, because Trevor Lawrence can't consistently get it downfield to him. He just can't consistently see the field. Like he's literally seeing ghosts. Like every time there's a pass rusher in his face, he can't get past it. For the running back, I would not be surprised if ETN has a good game. So I'll throw ETN out there. Then on the Houston side, Tank Dell's looks like he's not playing. I think he's still carrying a questionable tag, but it's looking really bad for him playing this week. Nico Collins has also got the hamstring injury. So I'm calling it here. Stephon Diggs week. Get him in your DFS lineup. Stephon Diggs is going to have a big game this week. And actually, wild card, I think Dalton Schultz might be good too.
Love it.
Might have to write down because I already know one fantasy Jesus pick for a receiver. All right, let's go, folks. He wants to know J.K. Dobbins or Zay Flowers in the flex. Justin, what do you say?
I'll go with shoot. Why am I blanking on who Baltimore's playing this week?
They're playing the Bills.
Yeah,
the Bills. That's right. I'll go with Zay Flowers. I think this is going to be a really entertaining game. And Dobbins has got the Chiefs looking like Justin Herbert may or may not play. And if he does play, he's going to be really hobbled. Don't like those odds, especially with, the guy in the back of his Easton Stick. Jesus Christ, talk about a guy who shouldn't be making a football team. No offense, Easton, if you're watching. But but yeah, I think I'll just go Zay Flowers. I think that's going to be a pretty entertaining game.
All right, I like it. All right, let's go to the Master God. What do you think, Drew? Tyreek for Jaden Reed. What do you think? Did you make that trade?
No, I want Tyreek. That's still just like I still need to see how Love comes back before Jaden Reed does anything for me. So yeah, I know there's no quarterback really in Miami right now, but Tyreek's going to get the ball no matter what in Miami.
You know,
what's
funny?
Tua's timeline?
I don't. Who cares? Because I don't even want him to play anymore. Honestly, I mean, I don't want.
Honestly,
I don't want to see. I don't want to see that again.
But I mean, we don't want to see Skylar Thompson play either.
Yeah, of course. Like for football purposes, of course. I just, as a human being, don't want to see that sight again, and especially be something even more major. Honestly, I just don't want to see it. All right, but what? Yeah. Anyway, I forgot what you were gonna say.
I'm still keeping Tyreek over Jay. I want Tyreek over Jaden. That's the answer.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. It's so funny because ever since we, start, friend Greg, and you guys like to bust my chops about Tua, and it's so funny because I talked all this trash about saying I could be the QB of the Dolphins, and I could throw 3,000 yards with Tyreek. Well, I got my chance. All right, let's go, Justin. We got one more. Shane Jacobs wants to know Achane and Ferg for Cook and Bowers.
Oh man, I think that's pretty even overall. I actually, with the Devontae news coming out, I think Devontae is really just trying to check out of fucking Las Vegas. So I think that's a big boost for Bowers right there. I think that it's a pretty balanced trade. I don't think you're losing on either side. But you know what? Just for the Bowers move, I'd probably go Cook and Bowers.
All right. I like it. I don't disagree. Bill, what up? Appreciate you checking in tonight.
By the way,
yes.
Bill should be on our Pick'em show because he was down. He was picking all of the winners last week.
He was.
That was a tough week.
Yeah, we had a tough week. I think Bill would have cleaned us out last week for sure. All right. Well, thanks for checking. Appreciate you. All right, let's go to the next one. Vikings at Packers. My bad. Actually, we're doing Broncos at Jets. That's why I skipped it. Against fantasy QBs, the Broncos are 10th. Against running backs, they're 18th. Against receivers, they are numero uno. 20th against tight ends. The Jets are number 3 against QBs. 8th against running backs. They're 11th in both receiver and tight end. LeDuc, who you like and don't like in this one?
I don't like much. I think this game is going to be boring, low scoring. This is going to be brutal. Garrett Wilson, who is normally a must start, unfortunately, you're probably going to have to start him, just judging where you drafted him. But he gets Patrick Surtain, and that's a death sentence this week. So good luck. Yes, Bill versus Freddie. Let's do that.
I like that.
I would say I'd say Breece Hall is probably the best start you can do in this week. But other than that, I think this is going to be pretty abysmal fantasy all around. I don't really want to start anymore, honestly.
I mean, if you got a field goal kicker in this one, that's where I'm going.
Yeah,
maybe a defense.
That's a good call.
Jets D I like in this. I mean, I could, Broncos. I don't know. It depends on what Aaron Rodgers shows up. So if it's, he could make a few mistakes against this Broncos secondary. What do you think, Justin?
I won't add too much more. I'll just add 2 names to it. I think if you are short a tight end, because this week has been kind of miserable and this year has been kind of miserable, Tyler Conklin, not a bad name to throw out there. And then also Alan Lazard seems to be Aaron Rodgers' number 1 go-to guy outside of Garrett Wilson. Actually, I'm just going to say it. With Garrett Wilson involved, he seems to be his number 1 go-to guy. And there's a guy that a lot of people have added and dropped week to week. So who knows? Pick him up if you have a spot and you need somebody flexed in there because of all the injury hell that we're in. Go ahead. I think that's a great play.
I like that game. All right, Vikings at Packers. The Vikings are 7th against QBs, 6th against running backs, 23rd against both receiver and tight end. The Packers are 11th against QBs, are 19th against running backs, 17th versus receivers, and 27th against tight ends. Let's go. I can't figure out where I was at. Let's go, Justin. Who you like and don't like in this one?
So LeDuc, tell me, because I don't know if Brian went over this or not. Is Jordan Love with the limited practice? What is his odds? What are his odds of actually playing?
So we
have to wait another week.
So we did not go over it, but the latest news is saying that he's likely to make a return. which I'm not surprised by because I know our original analysis of Love when he first got hurt was roughly like 2 to 3 weeks. So this is kind of right in that time frame. So I feel like Love makes his return this week, which should be good news for Jaden Reed, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah. Well, no, you just put a smile on my face because that means that this officially becomes a fantasy bonanza candidate for me. I love this game because it's two teams that know each other. So I'm not worried about the Packers and Brian Flores because Matt LaFleur's had to scheme up for Brian Flores for the past 2 years. So he's good for Brian Flores. He knows what he's doing with Brian Flores. I'm pounding the table for Jordan Love to make a top 10 comeback in this week. So he's going to be a top 10 quarterback this week. And who's going to be reaping the benefits? I think it's going to be Jaden Reed, and I think it's going to be Christian Watson. I love those two candidates right there. Josh Jacobs is an automatic start at this point. On the other side, Aaron Jones is an automatic start. You want to talk about a man on a mission right here. Aaron Jones against his former team who threw him aside because he was too injury prone to go sign an even more overpriced running back. Come on now. Tell me that man isn't fueled by a little bit of hate and anger. He's got some rage in him. And he's going to take it out on that Packers defensive line. I love that matchup. And then, of course, you can't sit Justin Jefferson. And I would not be surprised. I think this is Jordan Addison's return game. Don't be surprised if he gets involved deep. Maybe a touchdown. Maybe a couple catches. Maybe 13 points. I don't know. Maybe I'm calling something a little too soon here. But I love this matchup. I think it's got fantasy bonanza written all over it.
I like it. All right, let's go. I'm sorry, I guess I missed a few comments. I'll put those up here in a second. My bad. Let's get one more in. Steelers at Colts. And an interesting matchup for sure. The Steelers against fantasy QBs are number 1. Against running backs, they're number 2. Against receivers, they're number 4. And against tight ends, they're 15th in the league. Wow. Colts, they're 19th against fantasy QBs. They're 15th against running backs, 29th against receivers, and 26th against tight ends. Damn, I didn't realize they were that good. What do you think, LeDuc? Guys you like and don't like?
This is another one that I think this is actually going to be fairly low scoring. I think the Colts got a win here, but I think there's a defensive touchdown involved. I don't really love anybody on the Steelers offense, if I'm being honest. Freiermuth is probably the one guy I would lean to here. I guess I would say don't sleep on Calvin Austin. He's getting more involved. I was on him late last year. He's just going to continue that climb, I think. So if Fields does find some consistency here, it might be through Calvin Austin. And then from the Colts standpoint, Jonathan Taylor. He's going to be all right. I still think he's overrated as a whole for the season, but he's at least hot right now until he gets a little bit of a bang up. So I'm going to ride him while he's healthy. And then from there on out, I'd say this is more of a watch game for me. Cause like I said, with Calvin Austin, I want to watch Calvin Austin, but I don't think this is necessarily his week. Same thing with Josh Downs coming back from injury. Josh Downs is more of a future pick for this season. I think Josh Downs could be someone who is very integral in some playoff matchups later on in the fantasy season. So I'm watching Josh Downs this week, his second week back. But as far as this week goes, I don't think there's many fantasy points to go around here.
I see LeDuc, I believe you had answered Master God's question about
that was
trading.
Me,
we're trading. Geez, Rashad White. That also to your answer, of course, was, everyone knows about Bucky Irving at this point. There's not much value for him, which I do agree with. However, depending on the league you're in, you could certainly persuade someone or even the Bucky Irving owner perhaps into something that might help your squad if you need a tight end or receiver. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's exactly why I said I'd actually try to pay up for Bucky Irving at this point. Because I do think that offense this year is going to be good enough to where whoever is the running back, whether it's White or Irving at this point, it looks like it's going to be Irving. Irving will be valuable and worth the price, even if you have to pay a little up for him right now.
I like it. Justin, on the last matchup, what say you?
Steelers defense.
There we go.
And I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Miami Dolphins, if you're not on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers organization trying to get Russell Wilson, you're fired. All right, Let's go Rams at Bears against fantasy QBs. The Rams are 30th, 25th against running backs, 30th against receivers, and 29th against tight ends. Quite the opposite of the Steelers D. Bears they're number 2 against QBs, 24th against running backs, they're 6th against receivers, 14th against tight ends. Justin, guys you like and don't like.
What was the matchup again? I'm sorry, I was distracted.
Hey, that's usually my line, dude. Come on.
It's impersonation day. I'm being Leduc over here. Only I can grow a magnificent beard like him.
I gotta eat your gummies. All right, the Rams at Bears.
Oh, that's why I was zoning out because the
okay.
These 1 o'clock games are rough.
Guys, this is perfect because I have a question for you guys.
Uh-oh.
So I have a very bad dilemma in one of my home leagues. I have Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield, and Caleb Williams, and I have to start one. And I really don't want to start any of them, but
Baker Mayfield.
I have to start one.
Easy. It's so easy, Baker Mayfield. It's not even a question.
I would have said that. Go ahead.
I kind of feel that Caleb Wood, because that's why you're asking this question right now.
He wants to start him, doesn't he?
I kind of feel you in this because I have him back up. I have a better QB, so I'm not starting him, but I certainly was looking at him like, this is a sexy matchup for him. I kind of like that. What you're saying there, and I feel you. I think I would go Caleb over Baker because the Eagles D, it's shown flashes of being decent, and pretty much put a hot Saints offense at home, pretty much to bed. So, what do you think?
Yeah. So here's my dilemma, guys. So I have put up probably like top 5 points. I am 1-2, and it has all come down to the fact that I've lost my total games by 6 points. And you know why? Because I played Caleb the first week, Caleb the second week, and Baker the third week. Yeah. So I played all these guys on the wrong fucking week.
So which one of those weeks is the one that you won then? Say it.
I won
Say it.
last week.
So Baker.
With Baker.
Baker. Point proven.
Yeah.
Is it though? Baker didn't really have that great of a week last week.
It is proven because this is. I'm sorry. I know the Rams are banged up. I know there's a lot going wrong for the Rams right now. But what the Rams showed last week is they don't give a fuck. They are gonna play hard. They're gonna kick some ass when they get on that football field. Justin, you should know better than anybody what happened last week.
You know what the Rams proved last week? That their defense fucking sucks. Their secondary is terrible.
Right.
That's what they proved last week.
They are going to step up and play, and they are going to eat a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams alive.
Hey, this isn't the Pick'em show. I don't care if he wins. I care if he throws for 3 touchdowns and 295 yards.
All right, real quick, we got a question here from the Smitty. We'll stay here with you, Justin. Start 2 of these guys: Mason, Steele, Ramondre, or Rojo.
They're in the same game, and I'll take Mason and Ramondre. I like Ramondre against this very injured, very bad defensive line for the 49ers, and I think that Mason is just going to eat the way that Breece Hall and Braylon Allen did last week against the Patriots.
I mean, I love the appeal of Steele, but unfortunately, you're in a what do you call it? The whatever
committee.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's when when the gummies hit.
Kareem Hunt's going to be active this week.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure.
I was about to say, thanks for stealing my damn point with Kareem Hunt being in the mix.
You said gummies. I thought you were in the clouds. That was me.
Is Rojo back? Is Ronald Jones playing?
Rojo. Wait, sorry. Who'd you say?
Isn't Ronald Jones Rojo?
I think they're saying. I was gonna say, what's it called? Johnson. Roshan Johnson. Roshan Johnson's back though. That's why you threw me off because he is back. He's been hurt a lot, but he is back.
Yeah. Roshan Johnson. He's an interesting one. I think.
I'm second. Is Barry Sanders playing this week? Like,
hey, if Barry Sanders was playing this week, I'd put some money on that shit. Let's go, Barry.
All right. Let's finish up the 1 o'clockers. Eagles at Bucks. I don't know. Maybe that's 4 o'clock. Who the hell knows at this point? Eagles against fantasy QBs are 12th. Running backs are 11th. Against receivers are 27th. Against tight ends are number 3. Bucks QBs are 26th. Against running backs are 29th. Against receivers are 14th. And tight ends, they're number 4. Justin, check that out for Goddard. All right, what do you say, Ledoux? Guys you like and don't like?
It's going to be pretty straightforward. Barkley, I like. So even though the matchup is tough for Goddard, I still like him just because the options. I will say if there's anybody here that if you're going to take a dart throw on, I know you mentioned Wilson earlier, Justin, when it comes to the guys they have out there, but you also mentioned Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson is not some schlup of a receiver. He's a legitimate receiver who I think was in a bad situation. So I like Jahan Dotson to actually be the sleeper DFS play this week. You can probably get him cheap. And then on the other end, Tampa Bay, you already know I like Baker Mayfield. I am not a believer in the Eagles defense. They haven't proved it to me. I know they had a good week last week against the Saints, but I need to see more of it. I think the Bucs are going to be all right. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, they're just going to be too much. Baker Mayfield's going to eat. Chris Godwin, as always, is going to continue to be on his tear. That's the guy I want. I know Mike Evans is good too, but Chris Godwin I have over Mike Evans every single week.
All right, guys, you like and don't like, Justin?
Oh, I think Leduc, he absolutely wrapped a bow on it. That's ready to go. That's sent out to the community. That's a nice little analysis right there, everybody. You almost persuade me to go Baker Mayfield. I'm still a game time decision on this one, but you almost persuade me to go Baker Mayfield. Just so I can rub it in your face when he fucks me over again.
You know what? It sounds like you're making a lot of excuses for managerial errors.
That's it. I'm like Kyle Shanahan. I fumble it in the fourth quarter.
I'm assuming that's supposed to say low key.
Low key, yeah. He put the key in.
Oh, he did. Okay,
he did a self-correction for Bill. Good job, Bill.
Nice job, Bill.
All right, so we've talked about some starts and sits for the 1 o'clocks, but are any of those sophisticated? We're about to find out. Andrew Leduc brings Mr. Mallard to the show with your sophistication station.
Oh la la! Good evening and welcome to another stop on Sophistication Station. I'm Andrew Leduc, aka Mr. Mallard. Let's get some must starts that are classy. They're going to save your team this week. So let's start with Michael Wilson. Oh la la! Someone who definitely a lot of people aren't starting, but in this Arizona offense that seems to be just starting to hit its stride on the back of Marvin Harrison right now, Michael Wilson is now going to get some more opportunities on the other end and in the middle of the field. So I like his matchup this week against Washington. Get some Michael Wilson in there if you have him. And if you're playing DFS, definitely. Now, in a game that I think is going to have some points, let's go to Chris Godwin. Oh, la, la. Chris Godwin has been stellar this year. He's been one of my guys. I'm going to ride him right now again. That's going up against that Philadelphia team that I think is reeling with some injuries right now and probably a little bit of self-confidence issues. I like this game. I like Tampa Bay to actually get the win here on the back of Chris Godwin. And on the other side of the ball, Dallas Goedert. Oh, la, la. Big breakout game this past week. I like him to continue that considering that A.J. Brown is most likely out. Devontae Smith is most likely out as well due to concussion protocol. So if anyone's going to step up in that offense, especially after last week, it's Dallas Goedert. And yes, this car is going live because it's classy to live on the main road. La, la. Stay classy, everyone, and see you next week.
If he were to punch you in the face, you would have to fight off the strong urge to thank him.
It's classy to live on the main road. I love it. All right, let's go. Patriots at 49ers. The Patriots against fantasy QBs are 15th. Against running backs are 17th. Against receivers are 26th. And tight ends are 16th. 49ers, 16th against QBs, 21st against running backs, 24th against receivers, and they are number 1 against tight ends. All right, Justin, guys, you like or don't like?
Once again, I was distracted. Dumbass award, please.
It's your team, Justin. Your team versus my team. Come on, man.
Jeez. Once again, don't play anybody. No, I'm only kidding. Mason, Purdy, and Kittle for the 49ers. For the Patriots, man, I'm really feeling like it's either gonna be Demario Douglas or Jalen Polk. And you already know I like Ramondre, but I really feel like it's gonna be one of those guys. I think Hunter Henry is a little bit too banged up to actually make a real impact, especially against Fred Warner. So I'm liking. I don't know, Ledoux, you got to tell me who's your deep ball guy, because I would plug that guy in immediately. Because our fucking secondary gets the deep ball sucked ass.
First of all, you can't have a deep ball guy without a deep ball quarterback, and unfortunately, Drake May is sitting on the bench. But technically,
second half,
technically, our deep ball guy would be Javon Baker. I'm not saying play Javon Baker though. It's not yet. Polk, I get.
DFS.
Polk is the guy who can get around the field. He can run more routes. He can run the slants. He can get around. For me, as far as the Patriots standpoint go, it's Ramondre or it's Demario Pop Douglas. Those are the two that you can consider. And Ramondre is even only a flex play for me this week. So for Pop Douglas, he's like, if you're desperate, flex play. I agree with you though. Mason, Kittle being healthy and looking good now. After a little bit of an injury scare this week, I think Kittle's going to be fine on Purdy. That's where you want to go. Are you also disappointed in what you've seen out of Ayuk so far as a 49ers fan? Did you expect more? Because I expected more.
No, he looks completely rusty. Everybody wants to be like, cover it up. No, he looks completely rusty, and he looks out of whack chemistry wise with Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody wants to make a big deal out of the broken coverage play. I think the reality is that Purdy wasn't trusting him to go and catch the ball, because he had like 2 drops in that game already, and they were like easy slants. And he's just like, fuck, dude. I can see it in Purdy's head. He's just like, do I want to try this? Because if I mess it up and he messes it up, there's a safety right there to possibly come pick it off. Like, I'm beyond disappointed with Brandon Ayuk. I think that we literally paid the wrong guy. We paid 2 receivers this year. Juwan Jennings, who went for 175 and 3 touchdowns, we paid him $7 million a year.
Earning that money.
Yeah.
I totally agree with everything you're saying, except for the fact I've always considered myself a deep ball guy. All right, let's go now to the Commanders. The Cardinals against fantasy QBs. The Commanders are dead last in the league. And against running backs are 20th. And guess what they are against receivers? Dead last. It's against tight ends, though. They're 17th. I guess that's because the receivers are eating so much. Cardinals, 23rd against QBs, 23rd against running backs, 16th against receivers, 9th against tight ends. Leduc, what say you guys you like and don't like?
Yep, so I'll keep this short and sweet. I like Brian Robinson in this matchup. I think Terry McLaurin builds off of what we saw this past week with Daniels. So I like that. And then from the Arizona side, James Conner should be all right. But like I said, I think this is similar to what we saw out of the Giants. Marvin Harrison opens this field up a bit more for the Cardinals from what we saw in the past. Hollywood Brown could not do that to what they thought they could do last year for this offense. Marvin Harrison does. Someone like Michael Wilson, you're going to see it Sunday in my DFS lineup. You already started Sophistication Station. Michael Wilson is someone that I think can benefit from the Harrison effect. I think he's going to get those short passes, the quick slants. He's going to be involved. I look for Michael Wilson to surprise some people as a flex-worthy start this week.
I like it. Justin, anything to agree or disagree? And by the way, no Eckler in this too, so making Brian Robinson a good play. What say you?
Excellent play. Yeah, I mean, I think that we should have a fantasy bonanza. Like, everybody should come up with a fantasy bonanza play, because this is my number 2 fantasy bonanza game of the week. I love this game because there is literally no defense and all offense. It is all gas, no brakes on this one. We are going to just see 2 quarterbacks that do the same shit throwing to freaking Marvin Harrison and Scary Terry and freaking, like you said, Brian Robinson, James Conner, two guys that are very solid veterans, going to go out and get some points for you. One guy, LeDuc, you said Michael Wilson. I love Michael Wilson too. You stole my guy, but I will say this. This is a guy I'm looking at because of the Trey McBride injury, because he's a very athletic tight end. Elijah Higgins, I think he's going to be a nice DFS play this week.
I had to leave some meat on the bone for you, Justin.
I love it. you're a very selfless man.
I do like the all gas on this one. There's going to be a lot of fantasy points, surprisingly, out of these teams with zero defense on either side. Chiefs at Chargers. The Chiefs are 24th against QBs, 3rd against running backs, 12th against receivers, dead last against tight ends. Again, the Chargers, they're 5th against QBs, 12th against running backs, 5th against receivers, and 22nd against tight ends. So, Justin, what say you guys you like and don't like in this one?
I wish I had some clarity on the Justin Herbert situation. I have a feeling he's going to play. He won't play?
I don't think so. They fucked it up last week by playing him, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair, but it's also Kansas City, so it's kind of like one of those games. It's like a statement game. So it's like you almost put him in there to try and win, and if you win and you lose him for like a week or two, then it's a really great statement. The team's like, yeah, we can beat Kansas City. Or you fuck it all up and he just ends the season. But anyways, I think that Harbaugh's going to have the defense going good. Once again, this is going to be a Patrick Mahomes kind of scary game where you're kind of like, oh, man, do I have another option? Because that Charger defense is looking very much elite. I wish the offense was looking just as good, but they're not. Not going to start J.K. Dobbins if I don't have to. Lad McConkey is very iffy. Albeit Easton Stick has to get it to somebody, so maybe he has like a 10 reception game for 40 yards and maybe a touchdown. I don't know. He said 10 receptions, 40 yards. Come on, guys. Come on. No, nothing. Not even a chuckle. God, I thought it was funny, but it must be this late at night. Anyways, on the Chiefs side, Kelsey, and one guy I'm really back and forth on is I think this could be a fucking worthy game. I think we could get a big worthy play. And by worthy game, of course, I'm saying one like 60-yard bomb or an end around for a touchdown where he like gets you double points for the duration or for the length of the play as well as the score. So that's my bets on that. I think Rashee Rice is going to take a back seat.
I like that. What do you say, Drew?
So first, I don't know why you're jumping right over Taylor Heineke because I think he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Chargers this week and not Easton Stick. Either
I didn't
way,
even know where Taylor Heineke was playing. I thought he was in the broadcast booth.
Either way, an injured Justin Herbert or a healthy Taylor Heineke, same fucking difference. Nobody. This is what I know. The Chargers have been good against the Chiefs. It's a nice division rivalry. I love this matchup typically. This feels like the perfect storybook. Prove to the world we are still the Chiefs kind of game. Patrick Mahomes, who's been fantasy-wise a shell of himself from what we're used to seeing, he gets it right this weekend on the back of Travis Kelce, on the back of Rice, and on Worthy. I think the running backs are useless in this game. I think they do nothing in this game because I agree with you that I think if anything comes out of the backfield production-wise, it's going to be Xavier Worthy. So give me Mahomes, give me Rice, give me Worthy, give me Kelce, give me nobody on the Chargers. Blowout Central coming. Chiefs, proven to the world they are the defending champions.
I like it. I like it a lot. Just a quick note, because you had mentioned something that I just remembered. Next week, be prepared. It is bye week. So if you have some Chargers, they will be on a bye next week. Lions, Eagles, and Titans as well. So just wanted to throw that out there. I'm going to start getting ready for those bye weeks for sure. Let's go to the epic matchup of the day. Browns at Raiders. Browns against fantasy QBs are 13th, against running backs are 13th, against receivers are 21st, and against tight ends are 12th. Raiders 21st against QBs, 31st against running backs, 22nd against receivers, and 19th versus tight ends. LeDuc, guys you like and don't like.
So I'm going to be crazy here. I'm going to be liking Deshaun Watson this week. I'm gonna be liking the Browns this week. Give me Ford, give me Watson. I do like Bowers when it comes to the Raiders, but I think that the Devontae Adams news for the Raiders is more than just Devontae Adams news. It goes right hand in hand with the fact of is Gardner Minshew our guy or is Aiden O'Connell our guy? I know they've come out and say Minshew's still our guy, but this just seems like a train wreck waiting to happen for the Raiders, which I did not predict for this season, but it's slowly turning into that. We've seen when Adams, you said it earlier, he decides he's not playing anymore. I think you're onto something there that feels what this is, and I think it's going to drag the team down. I think the Browns come out of this with a win, and it's going to be Deshaun Watson looking just good enough throwing to his guys, and I think Jerome Ford gets in the end zone maybe even twice this week.
Ooh, hey, what do you think, Justin?
You're on mute.
You're muted.
You got me all hot and heavy over that Jerome Ford thing. I forgot to unmute myself. I'm over here like fucking owning a lot of Jerome Ford. And I'm like, ooh, I'm liking that analysis.
I love turning you on, Justin.
Oh, buddy. Your wife must have a lot of fun with you, my friend.
Fiance, slow it down.
Oh, shit, slow it down, dog. You've already sped it up. What are you talking about?
I'm kidding.
No, I know. But anyways, I think that we should really look into Jacoby Myers as being a possibility in this one. There's your reliable number one wide receiver. It's not Devontae Adams, it's Jacoby Myers. And then finally, I will tie it on with a bow and say that Deshaun Watson is a terrible pick. He can go fuck himself. He is terrible at his job. He literally came out and said, they don't pay me to be a running back. I'm just like, they pay you a lot of money to win fucking football games. You better run the ball if you need to run the motherfucking ball. You're like,
this is Deshaun Watson in too many leagues, I guess.
I want him in 2. And I'm losing in both of them.
Point proven.
He's yelling at him right now. All right,
there's no other options.
Let's get to a better game. Let's go Bills at Ravens.
Yes.
Against fantasy QBs, Bills are 6th. Running backs are 26th. Against receivers are 27th. Against tight ends are 25th. Ravens 28th against QBs, 5th against running backs, 28th against receivers, and 31st against tight ends. That secondary has been eaten up. What do you say, Andrew? Guys you like and don't like?
Yeah, so this is, once again, feels like a get-right game, and this time it's for the Ravens. We said it earlier. I like Zay Flowers as a flex play here, RB2 type of play. I still don't know what's going on with Mark Andrews. There's something weird that came out of that offseason car crash he was in that everything turned for him. So Mark Andrews, I think there's a lingering injury from last year that he's just not right from. So Isaiah likely still in the game here. But Lamar Jackson, this just feels like a Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry game from the Ravens side. And then from the Bills side, like, you got to like Josh Allen. He's just doing Josh Allen things right now. James Cook is cool. But other than that, it's Allen, it's Cook, it's Jackson, it's Henry, and Flowers for me. It's pretty straightforward. I think the Ravens win.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game to watch. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I think that Kincaid is a good option in this one, just because that secondary and linebacking core has not been what it's usually been in the past. And then, yeah, outside of that, I think the Duke, you're spot on. This seems like it's going to be a very straightforward game. Just play your stars, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Josh Allen's pretty much going to go the hell off. We'll say that. I don't know.
I don't know why that just got me. Just the analysis of internet fucking fantasy football analysis. Yeah.
I disagree with what I mean. There's pretty much like he's right. I just don't want to
I feel like that was the chicken moment.
Yeah, I just loved it. Continue. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, you're good. I think Josh Allen has a really good game in this one, and I think we're not going to see. I know I've been clamoring for Derrick Henry, and they've been winning ball games that way. And the Bills' front seven certainly are susceptible to the run, but I think the Ravens get back to throwing the football a lot because they're going to have to stay in this ball game. So I think Lamar, I think it's just going to be a back and forth, great football game to watch at the 4:00 slate, or if that's 8:00. I'm sorry, that's the Sunday night.
Sunday night, yeah.
Let's get to the Titans at America's team. I can't even say it without conviction anymore. Titans against fantasy QBs 17th, running backs 22nd, third against receivers, second against tight ends. Dolphins 8th against QBs, 28th against running backs, 10th against receivers, and 18th against tight ends. We don't even know who the hell's starting at QB for the Dolphins. What say you, Justin? Guys you like and don't like?
So this is an automatic start for Tim Boyle, obviously.
Good God.
I'm sorry, I got messy.
Fantasy Pros has all three quarterbacks for the Dolphins ranked 32, 33, 38. So there's fucking zero.
Wait, they had one of them in the top 32?
They have Tyler Huntley is ranked 32, Skylar Thompson 33, Tim Boyle 38.
I mean, we can get on to the next game whenever you want.
Man, this is gonna be wow. I want to hear LeDuc's analysis on this one because I just can't do it. All I'm gonna say is Devon A-Chain with a shrug emoji.
That's about it. I will say they have Tyler Huntley ranked above Drake May, if that tells you anything. Drake May is 35, Tyler Huntley's 32. So we'll see what that is that. But look, when it comes to the Titans though, like what Tony Pollard.
I think Tyler Huntley might step on the field for like a quarter and do better than Will Levis, if that's any.
Well,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Tony,
I think the only guy. I mean, so here's the unfortunate part is that you still have to start Tyreek Hill. You have to, because they're gonna find any way to get him the ball. But it's not a who are you gonna sit him for on your team? Okay, so where you draft? So just where you drafted Tyreek Hill, some mid first round, most likely mid to late first round, depending on your league's scoring format. Who the hell are you going to start over Tyreek Hill right now?
You're
starting Tyreek Hill. And it's unfortunate and it's painful, but you have to.
Yeah, I'm only saying this because I'm somebody who didn't draft Tyreek Hill. So I'm just giving shit.
Bringing a lot of fucking personal feelings to the show tonight, damn it, Justin.
Can we move on now? I don't even want to talk about that game. It makes me
move on. This game
sucks.
Let's
go. Seahawks at the Lions to finish things up. The Seahawks.
What a game.
Fantasy QBs are fourth. It'll definitely be on real quick after that middle of that Dolphin game. Seahawks are fourth against QBs, ninth against running backs, second against receivers. They're 24th against tight end. Pretty legit D, although their competition, might be spelling that out too. Lions, they're 18th against QBs, number 1 against running backs, but 31st against receivers, and 5th against tight ends. All right, LeDuc, guys you like and don't like in this one.
All of them. Third. This is the third fantasy bonanza of the night. I'm going to piggyback off of Justin's too. I think this is a fantastic one. I think Charbonnet. So here's the thing. Kenneth Walker there's still a chance Kenneth Walker plays this week. That's an outside chance. I still think they give him one more week, but he's not ruled out yet, which is an upgrade. But if doesn't play, Zach Charbonnet will give you flex numbers. DK Metcalf, his normal routine. JSN is going to be a wide receiver too. Geno Smith will be good enough. As far as Detroit goes, everybody just Gibbs, Montgomery. I think Montgomery outperforms Gibbs this week. If you're going to take anything from this segment, Montgomery outperforms Gibbs from a fantasy point standpoint. So that's if you're going to take anything, that's what I'm going to say.
Seahawks a little soft against tight ends, so maybe is a little Sam Laporta arising in this too. But what do you say, Justin? Guys you like and don't like?
Yeah, knowing Dan Campbell, it's going to be Brock Wright for the touchdown.
he's not that guy.
One of the linemen.
He's just not that guy.
He's not. But it's always just like that one. He'll give it to his freaking offensive lineman before he gives it to the right person. You're like, I drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown. What the fuck?
They did just promote Allen Robinson to the active roster. If anyone gives a fuck about that, but they did.
Oh, good God. He's still in the league. I thought he was like a receivers coach somewhere. Come on now, man.
So that actually made the local radio sports show here today. I heard it, as part of the headlines. Detroit upgrades Allen Robinson to the active roster. I was like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, that changes everything. Go out there and get Allen Robinson off your waiver wire, obviously.
Obviously.
Dude's a fantasy football Hall of Famer right there. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think I have to tell you who to start in this game. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, I would temper back the expectations on Laporta with the injury, but I think it's going to be a great game, like the Duke said. If there's one defense I'd start in this game, it's going to be a surprise for you. I think it's going to be the Lions. I think the Lions defense is sneaky, and they're a little bit better on the defensive line front than the Seattle Seahawks are. Seahawks are good on the secondary, but I think their front's a little soft, and I think, like LeDuc said, it's going to be a Montgomery day. Montgomery's just going to mow over these guys.
Hell
At home, too, get the crowd fired up for that D, so I think it's a good call to say the least. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time that we entertain you as we close things out. It's Friday night. Get your dancing shoes on. I can't even say it. DJ Chuck Bass about to play some fantasy hits.
Playing the hits, DJ Chuck Bass, week 4. Let's go. Did you tail playing the hits week 3 when we give out Jawan Jennings, when we give out Deontay Johnson combined for 62 points? I hope so. Why do you think I'm wearing this umbrella hat? It's raining underdogs on playing the hits this year, and we're giving out a little bit more. Let's get to the quarterbacks this week. We're doing number 1, Deshaun Watson. This is the only video in America where somebody will recommend playing Deshaun Watson this week. I guarantee you. He's not beating the allegations, but he's beating the projections. Going up against a Raiders defense that just gave Andy Dalton a career performance. Look for Deshaun Watson on the hot seat to repeat that similar level of production. Number 2, did I say Andy Dalton? Let's go back to Andy Dalton. He is going up against his former team, the Cincinnati Bengals, who just let Jaden Daniels lay nuts all over him. Dalton is dealing right now. Do not worry about Adam Thielen being out of the lineup. Xavier Legette is ready to step up. Deontay Johnson is looking premium. This is an offensive coordinator and play calling matchup, and the Bengals cannot stop anybody. Let that ride. Lastly, the hit of the week. Justin Fields, he's back, baby. Russell Wilson is sucking down Subway subs in the hallway tunnel because all he can do is watch Justin Fields slowly make those point projections rise. He's got an excellent matchup this week, and look for him to utilize his legs a little bit more. He's been a little bit sheepish because he did not want to let down the good people of Pittsburgh. Guess what? Them days is over. He's about to become fully formed Justin Fields. This is Chuck Bass. I am playing the hits every fucking week. Let's go.
Did you hear that, Justin? Did you hear that? Deshaun Watson. Two times on the show. The two
Chuck
times.
Bass playing the Deshaun Watson hits. Thank you, Chuck Bass. And I'm sorry that the Canva took out your umbrella hat. That's my bad, bro. I know it was cool. I just took it out. I didn't have time to edit it back in. My bad. All right, listen, wake up with us on Sunday, 8 a.m. We're going to be here to answer your lineup questions. We'll have last-minute injury update when we go inside the medical tent. Of course, we got our fantasy friends to give you some great starts and DFS plays and some betting lines for you as well. So make sure you tune in. From us to you, we appreciate you. Thank you for everyone putting in comments tonight, and we are out.